All right, so class, um, today we're going to start with chapter 5. Chapter 5 is on the discounted cash flow valuation. This is basically continuation from chapter 4, all right, on time value of money. So whatever you learn in time value of money will be carried forward in chapter 5, and a few of the calculation is just slightly advanced from the previous chapter, all right. So here we'll be learning about the future value, present value, annuities, rates of return, and amortization, where we're going to see more practical examples how time value of money really affects. All right. Okay, let's start. Okay, so we're going to start the chapter by uh, doing some of the examples. Okay, because I want to see whether how far you have understood the previous chapter. So let's start with solving an example here. So what interest rate would cause $100 to grow to 125.9 cents in 3 years time? All right, so first you need to identify each value, what it stands for. Then you need to calculate what are they looking for, right? So the question asks what is the interest rate. So you know they are looking for the interest rate. So 100 is, as I said, you have only 5 different values: present value, future value, present value annuity, future value annuity, and also the PMT or annuity, right? So 100 is your present value, all right, because they say 100 to grow to 125. So 100 is the present value, 125.97 is your future value, n equals to 3. So the only thing left, all right, is the interest rate. All right, so class, I want you to take a piece of paper and pause the video and start calculating and find out what did you get, what is the interest rate did you get for this question. All right, so you can stop now, you pause the video and move on and find out how much did you get, what is the interest rate. Okay, so class, I hope you have completed the question. All right, because practice makes perfect. Time value of money is a question, it's a chapter where you practice, then you can really understand. When the question twists a bit, all right, you can still know exactly what to compute. All right, so let's look at the answer. All right, so as you can see, we are using future value equals to present value 1 plus I power of n formula to calculate what is the interest rate, right? So your future value is equals to 125.97 cents, and your present value is 100. 1 plus I is what we are calculating, the unknown factor, power of 3, right? So first 125, then the 100 goes the other side, therefore you divide, becomes 1.2597. Then this power of 3, when you bring it the other side, it becomes power of 1 over 3. All right, power of 3 becomes power of 1 over 3, right? Then here is still 1 plus 1 on 1 plus I. Once you calculate this, 1.2597 power of 1 over 3, you get 1.099, right? Then 1 plus I, the 1 you bring it the other side, it becomes minus. So this figure minus 1, you get 0.07999. When you round up to 2, decimal points, you get 8. Therefore, your interest rate would be 0.08 or 8%. All right, so your answer would be 8%. All right, so let's move on to the next part. Hope you get that answer. The next question would be solving for PV. All right, you asked to calculate PV when you have a 3-year ordinary annuity of 100 at 10% interest rate. All right, 100 payments will occur end of each period, but now there's no future value. All right, so and it's 3 ordinary annuity 100. So they say it is the amount that you keep on repeating. Therefore, that's your annuity or PMT at 10%. That's your interest rate. So you're required to calculate what is the present value annuity. All right, it's no longer just a present value question because it has annuity factor. Therefore, it becomes present value annuity. All right, so class, again, you can pause the video and calculate what is your present value annuity for this question. All right, so I hope you paused the video and computed the value. Did you get 248.69? All right, I hope you get it. Your PVA, present value annuity, equals to PMT times 1 minus 1 plus I power of negative n, and divide the whole thing divide by I, interest rate. All right, so if PMT is 100, 1 minus your interest rate is 10%, therefore 0.1. 1 plus 0.1, you get 1.1 power of negative 3. All right, the number of the period for the question is 3 years, and divide by the interest rate 0.1. Therefore, you should be getting 248.69 as the answer, right? All right, so let's move on to the next question. That would be, now the question asks you to solve future value, right? Just now was present value, now is the future value. Is again 3 years ordinary annuity 100 repeating for the next 3 years at 10% interest rate, but now you're asked to calculate future value. So class, pause the video now and calculate. So class, what did you get? Did you get 331? Right, so that should be your answer. As the class, of course, you have an option, right? You can use PV table to calculate, or you can use the formula like this, right? Future value annuity equals to PMT times 1 plus I power of n minus 1 divided by I, right? So 100 PMT 1 plus I, all right, 1.1 power of 3 minus 1 divided by 0.1. So if you compute, you should be getting 3.31. Therefore, 100 times 3.31, your answer should be 331, right? So if you just look for the both 2 and 3, the amount you paid is the same, right? 100, 100, 100. All right, you paid 300. But the 300, the value today is only 248.69. All right, the amount you paid is 300 ringgit, but the worth today is only 248.69. And if you calculate the same 300 ringgit, in future the value is 331. All right, so that's the difference between present value and future value. Why it is one is lesser, one is higher? Because the value of money is $1 today is worth more than $1 next year. All right, that's why the value today is higher compared to later years. All right, so let's move on to the next part. What is the present value of a 5-year 100 ringgit ordinary annuity at a 10% return? All right, so the questions quite straightforwardly asked the present value. You're required to calculate present value, but is it just a present value or present value annuity? Right? It is a present value annuity question because the question said 100 ordinary annuity at 10%. So, can you pause the video and compute and see what did you get? So, class, are you back? Are you done? If you have not yet done, take a piece of paper, start calculating. All right, your answer should be 379.08. All right, same formula, future value, present value annuity formula, 100 times 1 minus 1 plus 1 power of negative 5. All right, divide by 0.1. So with this computation, you should be getting 3.7908 times with 100. Therefore, the value would be 379.08. Okay. All right. Of course, if you use PV table, you can actually try both methods, right? The PV table and also the formula method. Your answer might usually differ slightly. Okay. All right. So moving on to the next slide, you can see that the same question. Instead, here they're asking you to calculate for 10-year annuity, 25 years annuity, and perpetuity. All right. So this the previous question. All right. Your N is the only one changing here. Your PMT is still 100. Your I is still 10%, and you're required to calculate the present value annuity. All right. By changing your N to 10, N to 25, and to perpetuity. All right. So why don't you pause the video and compute, especially the first two. All right, 10-year, 25, because you're just changing the end. For perpetuity, if you don't know, understand, all right, you can just wait for a while, then I will show you the formula for it. Okay, pause and do it. All right, so class, I hope you completed 10-year annuity, 25-year annuity. Let's check the answer. All right, so for your 10-year annuity, you would be getting 100 times 6.146, 614.46. For 25-year annuity, you should be getting 907.7. And then for perpetuity, right? For perpetuity, the formula would be PMT divided by I. All right, PMT divided by I, which means your annuity is 100 divided by the interest rate 0.1. Therefore, your answer is 1000. Perpetuity means forever. All right, perpetual is forever. So n here is 10, here is 25, here n is perpetuity. Therefore, you use this PMT divided by I. So your answer is 1000. All right, so let's move on to the next question where you have more like a case study. All right, read the question and try to understand what is the content and what is the question about. All right, so class, 20-year-old student, all right, wants to save 3 ringgit a day for her retirement. All right, 20-year-old, she's already thinking about her retirement. Every day she places 3 ringgit in her drawer. At the end of the year, she invests the accumulated savings. All right, for 3 ringgit for 365 days, you get 1095 in a brokerage account with an expected annual rate of 12%. All right, how much will she have when she is 65 years old? All right, she's starting at 20 years old. Just imagine around your age. All right, she's starting today itself for the next how many years? When she's 65. Therefore, for the next 45 years. All right, she's keeping 3 ringgit a day, 1095 per year for the next 45 years, and she's giving in a brokerage firm and earning 12% return. So the question is, if she stick to her plan, how much will she have when she's 65? Class, can you calculate what they're asking? It is when she's 65, right? When she's 65, therefore it is the future value. And are you keeping 1095 once or every year? It is every year, right? When the same amount repeats, that means this is a annuity question. So the question asks you to calculate not just future value, but a future value annuity. All right, so class, your annuity, your PMT is 1095. Your N is 65 minus 20, therefore 45. Your I is 12%. So do you have all the information to calculate the future value annuity? Yes, right? So you can pause the video, take a paper, start calculating what is your answer. How much will she have when she retires? So class, are you back? Did you find out how much you get? Is it 140,000? No, right? It should be 1.487261.89 million. All right, almost touching 1.5 million. Right? Isn't it impressive? Right? When you're 20-year-old, start saving now itself. When you're 65 years, you're gonna be a millionaire. All right, sounds good, right? So what do you have to do? Instead of spending 3 ringgit a day in buying ice cream and anything else, you could just save it, keep it for the next 1 year, invest it for the next 45 years. Yes, you will be a millionaire, right? Just the 3 ringgit per day. But okay, before going to the next question, let me just show you the answer. All right, so your PMT 1095, this is your interest rate over 45 years minus 1 divided by interest rate. Therefore, you should be getting 1,487,261.89 specifically, right? So that should be your answer. Another way of becoming millionaire. All right, so let's look at the second part. All right, so you can fill in here the amount. But you see, for you, 3 ringgit might be more important than 1.487 million in when you are retired. You prefer to eat that ice cream today. You want to enjoy it today. You don't want to think about what is you're gonna get in future. So let's say you didn't have the saving. You didn't save 1,095. Uh, you start working, and only when you're 40 years old you start thinking, all right, maybe it's time for me to have some savings. I should have done when I'm 20, but never mind. Let me start it because now I'm earning, right? So let me start saving. And let's say you save the same amount of 3 ringgit per day, 1095 in a year, and you want to know how much will you accumulate when you're 65, right? So class, your PMT is same, your interest is same, only n instead of 45, now you're starting at 40. So the difference would be 25 years. So your n would be 25. And again, calculate, pause the video and calculate what would you get. What would you get when you are 40, when you start your savings at 40, not at 20? Can you calculate? Pause the video and calculate. Okay, so class, what did you get? How much is it? Is it somewhere near to 1 million as well or lesser? You're getting 146,059 cents, right? Is it ridiculous, right? Because just now was almost 1.5 million, now it's 146,000. It's just about 10% of what you have accumulated when you started with your 20. So that is the power of compounding and starting your savings earlier. All right, that's the power of compounding. So let's look at the answer. You should be getting 146,059 cents. All right, so the only thing you changed was from 45 to 25, right? So the lesson is it pays to start saving early, right? So let's move on. Okay, so you might argue with me saying that, okay, now when I'm 40, I'm already earning, all right, quite well, and I can save more than just 3 ringgit per day, right? I could save more than 1,095 per year. So here you want to calculate how much you need to deposit every year, all right, so that you can catch up with the person who started when he's 20 years old. Right? You want to know how much you need to save per year so that you can achieve the same result as the person who started when he's 20 years old. All right. So now what you're working, your future value annuity is 1,487,261, right? That is your goal. That's your future value annuity, and is 25 because you're starting at 40, and I is 12%. So what are you calculating? You're calculating the annuity or PMT, how much you need to deposit. All right. So class, can you calculate now? What is your PMT? Pause the video and calculate. All right, so class, back. What did you get? How much you need to save per annum? All right, it is 11,154.42 cents. All right, 11,154.42. All right, so because your future annuity is already, because you want to achieve what you have completed at the beginning, and the same I is 12%. All right, so the only thing you are calculating is the P and T. All right, so 11,100. So after 40, if you want to achieve the same 1.487 million, you have to save 11,000, not just 1,095. All right, more than 10 times the amount you would have saved when you are 20. Okay.